Hey gang, welcome back to my truck for another mobile movie review. And today we're going to talk about Panic in Needle Park, 1971 film starring Kitty Winn and Al Pacino. Directed by Jerry, let me screw this name up, Schatzberg, somethingberg, I don't know. Who also directed Street Smarts, which I have known this for a while, for a long time, but I didn't realize it was the same director. This Street Smarts is a film starring Christopher Reeves and Morgan Freeman. The film itself was something that they both, you know, the director and Chris wanted to make this film after it sat around for a while, but the studio at the time would not agree to make Street Smarts unless he agreed to make Superman 4. So that right there is a little backstory on how you got the shitfest known as Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, the Nuclear Man, actually voiced over by Gene Hackman himself. So that's enough of the knowledge of Street Smarts. But here we have a film about drug addiction, particularly heroin addiction, which, due to my line of work, I happen to know a lot about. And how it fits into a relationship. We have Al Pacino and his girlfriend, Miss Wynn, who fall in love. You know, there's a series of events that happen, but basically they're a couple. That weird sound you hear is my windshield wipers, and I can't turn it off because it's raining. So, turn it down. So they begin this relationship, and at the time, Al Pacino is a drug addict. He's an heroin addict. He's been in active addiction for quite a while. Well, he falls for this girl. She falls for him. They start a relationship. So just like any relationship that is associated with addicts, eventually, more than not, the other person begins to experiment, especially probably in this era, because it wasn't looked on as badly as it is right now, nor was it as dangerous. The two become, you know, romantically involved. She eventually begins to use heroin, and with the use of heroin, which is very addictive, comes a price to pay. All right, she has an $80 a day habit, which even today, $80 a day is, a lot of people make $80 a day. All right, so it's still quite a bit of money for, you know, regular people. How about that? So she has an $80 a day habit. She can't hold down a job because she's always fiending for the next high. I don't know if anybody on here knows how this works, but it does go along with this film. When you use drugs, we'll just talk about heroin. It sends off signals to your endorphins that is what causes that high. It's what peaks it. It's what makes you have that amazing feeling that you have when you're taking this drug. Right? So once you've done it, you're hooked. Really, I mean, it's very, very small percentage that you will stop using this drug right away or only use it once. The problem with this is you can only get that high one time. Your endorphins are set, and they're never going to go off like that again. You're never going to reach that point. But you're always trying to get that high, so they use more and more and more because they want that first feeling. They call it chasing the dragon. Demon. Just the demon. I think it's the dragon. Whatever. Either way, they're chasing that high. Well, the more and more you do, the more and more you have to buy. And that's where we come up to this young lady. She can't keep a job. Therefore, she can't afford the next hit. Here comes the relationship issues. You end up, when two addicts meet and start a relationship, they actually have two relationships. They have a relationship with the drug, actually three. They have a relationship with the person, they have a relationship with the drug, and they also have a relationship with the needle. And that kind of sounds weird, but they actually look forward to that prick of the needle in their arm. A lot of stuff, like if you're a heroin addict and you've been clean for a little bit, just seeing hypodermic needles causes triggers to make you want to use again. Which all this stuff sounds dumb to a regular person, but when you've seen it firsthand, this is actually what happens. But anyway, she now can't keep a job. Now she's got this $80 a day habit, which in 1971, $80 a day is a lot different than 2018. A lot. It is not unheard of for people to have $8,000-$9,000 a day habit. That is why you have the thieving. That is why you have the prostitution. That is why you have all this so that they can get by. And that's what happens in the film. This relationship turns into a shamble, just a terrible thing, because she needs to get high. She can't keep a job. So her next step is to hook herself out, to prostitute, to sell her body, to make money, to get high. And that causes strain on the relationship because she needs this. He can't keep a job either. He's hustling and stealing and all this stuff. He can't support both. So it's trial and tribulation between these two addicts. Now, this takes place in an area where the park, the Central Park area of this is generically called Needle Park, because that's where all the quote-unquote junkies or addicts go to get high and things like that. A lot of stuff, bad stuff happens here. Well, this is where we find these two at this point. They're both drug addicts, they're in love with their drug, and they're both in love with each other. Not a good mix. Two drug addicts do not mix well. Heroin is a very powerful drug, and heroin takes over. Most drugs do. Now, if you paid any attention to the news, you will see in the past 10 years, we have went from pills, which were oxycodones and stuff like that, where they were crushing pills and snorting them, or just, whatever they could do, shoot them up even, to a more predominant, meth, ice, cocaine even, just a mixture of drugs, and each one is just as powerful, and you get addicted to it and whatever. Which, if you've ever looked at anything about meth is, I don't understand why anybody would put this in their system, because meth is made up of so many terrible chemicals. One of the ingredients to meth is lithium batteries. There's a lithium strip of batteries that they cook down. So you're literally smoking a lithium battery. But then it still gets worse. Heroin is the #1 cause of overdose in the United States. And that's because drug drug dealers and even before them, the handlers have learned, it's always been cut with stuff. And what I mean by cut is added something in it, whether it's baking powder or, you know, something to make it thin, just like bars do when they add a little bit of water to their alcohol so they're making more money. That's the way this is done. But now they are cutting heroin with a drug called fentanyl and carfentanil. These are horse tranquilizers and elephant tranquilizers. And say you do, you know, whatever amount of heroin you do, right? And then you get a batch of this with the fentanyl in it, and you do the same amount, you're dead. You have overdosed. The funny thing about this is they've created these other drugs called Narcan that you can give an overdose patient and bring them out. Sometimes it takes like 10 doses of this to bring this person back alive. They are literally dead when this happens. So that's how dangerous that is. And now drug addicts are carrying fentanyl around with them, with their heroin, in case they die. Which a little known fact, a little factoid, is a lot of drug addicts, when they overdose, if you don't have fentanyl, you can also shove ice cubes up their ass. And it does something to the nerve endings that are really close to your asshole, and they come out of it too. Probably not as successfully as, Narcan, who stops at the carryout and buys fucking ice before going to a heroin party. Anyway, that's where we are. I don't want to get too far into that, which I already have gotten way too far in depth about drug addiction. That's what this film is about. This film is about relationships, not just the relationship between the two people. It is between the drug as well. The problem is it's also telling us the story of what strain this drug puts on a relationship and how much damage it puts people through, whether you're in a relationship or just your body or other people, when you're the victim of the crimes that go on for this drug. So sorry I got off topic with the film, but basically all the heroin stuff that we talked about goes into the film. It's a very good film. I really, really like it. It is one of many drug addiction films that I've watched that are, they don't show a lot of what it's like. If you want to see something that's more hardcore, watch Leonardo DiCaprio in Basketball Diaries. That's closer. This one just shows the agony of the aftermath. I mean, this is a film that they say they hired actual addicts to show the needles in the arms for this, which is fucking unheard of. Especially today, it would be fucking, there's no way that film gets made. But, and there are a lot of those shots, which, one or two is all you need. You get the hint, but the director shows us, over and over, you're getting some close-up shots, whatever. So you're a little squeamish about needles. There are spots in there, but you can always tell when they're coming, so you know what to do. So the most interesting part of the film is how the relationship is split between the drugs and the actual physical people. That really brings this film to life, especially for somebody like me that works every day with heroin addicts, well, drug addicts in general, but mostly heroin addicts and addicts of drugs that are supposed to help to not get high. Like there's a drug that helps heroin users wing themselves off heroin called Suboxone. Well, you're prescribed Suboxone. Now they've learned to boil that down and shoot it the same, or sell their Suboxone and get high that way, which is just as dominant as buying heroin, which is a hell of a lot cheaper than meth or cocaine, speed, ice, all the big drugs. So it's out there. It's terrible. It's scary. I live in an area that is ridden with this stuff. If you go about 45 miles east of my home, you hit Huntington, West Virginia, and that is the overdose capital of the United States. If you go on Netflix and you go to documentaries, there's a really good documentary called Heroin that was filmed in Huntington that was nominated for an Oscar this year. Didn't win for short documentary, but it was actually an honor to have that, something from around this area, not even nominated. But, I'm going on 16 minutes talking about fucking heroin. So I'm really sorry if this is boring the shit out of you. Watch the movie. It is a good movie. It's very dated. Al Pacino is nuts in this. This is probably one of his, but definitely it's one of his first films. I don't know how close this is to the first film, but it is definitely close. And that's all I got, guys. So, until next time, later.